Welcome to Retrospective Rants with me, Joey Huff, as your host. Well, the year's coming to a tidy end for some of us, and we are at Christmas Eve, so I had no intention to make a normal Christmas special, but due to unforeseen circumstances, my grandfather, Colin Brown, had to be taken to the hospital. He's recovered now, and he's better, but that does put an inconvenient wrench into one of our holiday traditions. You see, ever since I was born, probably, I only remember as far back as when I was 3, I think, but ever since I can remember, and before then, my grandfather, every Christmas Eve, would read to me the poem Night Before Christmas. Or is it The Night Before Christmas? It's always weird when they have those little title alteration things, but he would always read it, even after dinner and Mass and all the other, Christmas special watching. We always made it a point to read that before we all went off to sleep to wait for Santa. And even when my sister was born, she also joined in and we'd read it, and it became such an ingrained part of the tradition that the whole family, mom and dad, grandma, we'd all come in and we'd even wear hats. We wear Santa hats and elf hats, and if you ever saw those antlers, the reindeer antlers that have the Christmas lights, we'd wear those too. So Gran's recovered, my grandfather's recovered, but is obviously kind of tired, so he won't be in any mood to read the poem. And so, I thought I'd take the challenge up myself. He may not be able to read it to me, but maybe I can read it to him and maybe capture a little bit of the magic of the moment, so to speak, and share it with the rest of you who are listening now, and maybe you'll understand why this poem and all the memories entwined within its reading are so dear to me, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma, in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up a sash. The window on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, also Rudolph, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all! As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to fly, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And there we have it, my hopefully decent reading of The Night Before Christmas. And yes, I did add the bit about Rudolph in there, for reasons that I'll probably have to get into later, but suffice it to say, like many people, I grew up with the Rudolph Christmas special, and I don't like him not being included, and neither did he. But I hope that you understood, or that I was able to convey a little of what makes the poem special. I don't want to get into a whole philosophical analysis or whatever, but it's not just that Gran would read it to me and Abigail all the time, or he does, but it's just something that I realize. It's why he chose this particular poem, why it's a classic. Because yes, the kids are in bed waiting for Santa, but, we expect that. Of course, kids who, know about all that and are part of the... excuse me. Very eloquent as always, but people who know Santa and are part of the tradition are excited to see Santa. But what's wonderful about the poem is that the parents, the adults, the speaker, he's also excited for the Christmas season. And he too gets washed up in, experiencing the Christmas spirit and seeing Santa and the joy that Santa brings. And I realized, or at least I think, that that's part of why Gran would read the poem all the time. Or he does read the poem all the time, because he's also washed up in the Christmas spirit with the rest of us, with his grandkids and his family, and he wants to share that with us. And for that I will forever be grateful. And yes, I suppose that's the long and short of it. Alright, that is the end of my reading, and of the extra, which, maybe only as needed. Regardless, though, Merry Christmas to you all, and to all of you, whatever time of day your time zone is right now, you have a good one. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Ha, ha, ha!